I'd normally wear a shirt, but it is just way too hot right now. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video. Today we are talking about England. What can I say? I mean, we're through. We had a bit of luck with the other game being boring, and this group only had one win throughout the whole tournament, and that was with England. But I have mixed thoughts. I think the second half went really well, and we produced our best performance in the second half of the whole tournament. But again, it's that question of why Southgate again picking the same squad. I understand certain elements if we were winning games, but how poorly it went, I would have thought we've made multiple changes. Maybe it's not going to happen in this tournament. That would be a real disappointment, but we need to, I generally think, change whatever we have up front, and also just change our perspective. I mean, a lot of England fans are annoyed, but I think it's because our expectations are so high up. I don't understand it though as well at the same time, because if we're expecting, let's say England to, go on further in this tournament, I think in certain elements we do need to improve. But sorry, my dog's coming up. Roxy's trying to. Roxy, go away. Sorry. But no, I think we got certain elements in our squad now where we could actually win that we haven't shown in the previous two games. But I think the only disappointment is, again, it's still quite defensive, and there's still, quite a lot of people, what's the words, not confident in this England team, and it's understandable. And I predicted round 16 quarterfinal exit. I'm now going to change that to quarterfinal. I hate to say it, but I do think we're going to get to semi-finals with this squad, actually. I think there's certain elements of our squad that's going to make us go deeper. I don't think we're going to actually win games in 90 minutes. But I think we are going to show elements in this knockout rounds that might actually not be too bad. I mean, there's players that we do need to get rid of. Kane, I don't think there's any more chance for him. But I don't think he's going to change Kane because of what he brings sometimes to games, and that is goals. I think another one that England will definitely need to change is probably Foden and Saka, and put Anthony Gordon in, I think, Foden's position, and in Saka's position, Cole Palmer. There's no question about that now. Debate, it was a bit of debate because we didn't know what Cole Palmer was doing, but instant reaction from Cole Palmer, and I expect he will start the next game. I think Mayus could start, and Gayu. I think these are all players that barely got any England minutes and are actually turning up at this tournament. I think a more experienced players are really not turning up at this tournament. That's a weird thing for once, actually, if you think about it. I mean, yes, players are in their unnatural positions, but it is the issue we've had going into the tournament. But, man, I can't disagree. I think a lack of experience is going to show towards the end of the tournament, but do I think we're going to get knocked out in the round 16? Obviously not. I can't see it because we're on the other end, and we will be getting a Netherlands, maybe a Czechia or a Georgia, or potentially a Turkey or Romania or Slovakia or Ukraine. And I generally can't see us getting the harder end. I think we will be getting Ukraine or Belgium. I think we're going to get Ukraine or Czechia in these knockout rounds, and we should get past Ukraine. They've not been playing very well. Czechia as well. been a dismal, very lucky last game against Georgia. Um, but I think if we are to be, because we're on the easy end of the draw now, because we won't meet France, we won't meet Portugal, we won't meet Germany, and we won't meet Spain, but we will possibly be meeting Italy in the quarters. That I think we've got a good chance against Italy. Italy have been not great. Going to be honest with you, a lot of people have looked at England and criticised them. I think a little bit too hardly this time round. I was saying this to my dad's. Portugal, they drawed 3 games in 2016 and went on to win the whole thing. I am going to put a shirt on because it is. I don't want to get this copyrighted, but I don't think this is my shirt actually. Oh fucking well, it's dad's. It's my dad's, but you'll appreciate it when you see it. It's a diddly squat fucking shirt. Excuse my language. This is not going to be for children, but no, I can't. I can't get annoyed with England because there is slight improvements, and I think the moment where you had Anthony Gordon cross it into Harry Kane and Harry Kane leave it on to Cole Palmer, that was amazing. That was our best play of the tournament, and probably our best play, even better than the last tournament. I don't think we've ever done that. But that quick sort of play could work. And I think if we can go into the next 2 games, play like that, we will win. And it sounds so weird. We may not win in the full 90, but it might actually be the plan to just do that again. Change the squad a little bit. I probably, and for me, I think we need a more aggressive team actually this time round. I don't want us to keep changing the squad, but I would change 3 players, and it is the front 3 at the moment for me that are not just delivering. It's clear that you keep Cole Palmer in this squad, you keep Manu. There is 4 or 5 changes you can make. Definitely, I think you can make maybe a slight adjustment at the back. I don't know whether you want to change it because, I mean, you make 2 changes in the midfield. I think that's Stu Bellingham off, and it sounds weird. So we're talking about Jude Bellingham and Foden going off, but they've not performed. And for those players to get that spot, it is disappointing. And I think Southgate would have regretted not picking a Grealish or a Rashford now. But he has to go with the cards he's dealt himself. And I think we've got to be optimistic a little bit now, because we can't say that was a bad performance, can't say it was amazing, but we can say it was average at best. And that's pretty much been England's tournament since the opening game. I mean, we should have won last night with the amount of chances we got in that last 20 minutes. There was quality elements, but we didn't test them enough, and that might be an issue for England. I mean, a lot of people are not happy, and rightfully so. I think the people that should be most unhappy is the people that have bought tickets to this game and have expected, big thing from England. But I reflect, and I'm trying to be positive, but I reflect back to other teams that have won it in the past. 92. I mean, 2016 is the one that reminds me of this tournament a little bit. It's not because it's just in one single hosting nation and it was the most recent one previously to Euro 2020. I think it just shows that group stage fixtures may not suit England at this tournament. And we might actually do better knockout fixtures, actually. Because it is, a lot of people are like, right now probably looking at this going, what are you on about? What I mean is this team might actually suit better in knockout fixtures because they will have elements that will kill games off. They will have elements that attack. And even if we do come against the Dutch, that'll be an incredible game. But the Dutch aren't great. They were poor today. They were poor yesterday against Austria. They were poor against France. They scraped a win against Poland. That's just, if we're going to be harsh on England, let's be harsh on our opponents. I mean, Czechia, Ukraine, Belgium have all been bad. Slovakia and Romania would be the teams I want to avoid because they've been better, especially Slovakia, because the defensive record is remarkable, actually, if you look at it. And I think also Turkey would be a team. And I'll be honest, I think Turkey and Slovakia are the teams we need to avoid. I think even if we come against the Netherlands, we still got a good chance. I don't think we'll win in the full 90, but it might go to extra time. England's winning extra time. And that might be an element that England need to look at. Maybe be, not as defensive, but, keep, attacking, more press, Had we pressed, I think, in that last 15 minutes in the second half, I think we would have won. But we didn't press enough in that first half. And again, it's qualities from England that are just lacking. And I don't know where this, performance has gone from England at tournaments. But it's going to take a long, long time for this England squad to get there now. And we've got to get it right next game. We've got to start actually winning games to win this tournament. And we're technically now 4 games to the final. So, if we win these last 4 games, I would be shocked. But I think we are going to win the next game. But I think quarterfinals still is at the earliest we could exit. Semi-final, I think, is the latest. I think we could get to a semi-final realistically on the spectrum that we're in. And even if we face the Dutch, it's going to be a challenge. But after that, realistically, you expect some upsets, even on the other ends. And you could, this could actually be the most open Euros we've ever seen. And I'm not going to lie, there is still a chance for England to win this. That sounds mad for me saying it, but I haven't seen England play that well at a tournament probably since the Senegal game. And that sounds weird because we didn't win last night, but a lot of people are disappointed because expectations are like England going to be attacked. England have never been an attacking team, never. I mean, there's been worse England performances, and we go back to the previous game, but I can't be annoyed at that performance. They didn't give it all. I can tell they didn't give it all because it was hesitant in the first half. But we need to get behind the boys. There's a lot of people that are not going to be there next game. And I think this is a similar aspect to Russia 18 again. And I think it's either going to go one or two ways now. It's going to grow, or we are going to really scuffle it up to the semi-finals. And if we get to semi-finals, that would be a big achievement for England. All I would say is Portugal have been in this position. They've gone on to win the whole thing. I mean, even Denmark, it's 92. I was going to say this, but I'm going to say it a bit differently now. Weren't even meant to be in the tournament and won the whole thing. I mean, Greece, 2004, they scuffled it a bit and they went on to win it. The Netherlands beat Soviet Union in 88. Tournaments are full of upsets and full of twists and turns. And I think a lot of people are negative because of the last game and still haven't gotten over that last game. And it's understandable. But at the same time, I don't agree with some of the criticism. I think this is why I hate football, actually, because there's too much criticism now, actually, in certain elements on some of the players. And a lot of people are like, we should be criticising player, and yes, we should be because we should be a top 2 contender. But we're not the only team in this tournament that's had a dismal start. I mean, even Germany they've been better than us by absolute mile. You look at the point difference, but they scraped a draw against Switzerland, who scraped a draw against Scotland. That's, quite iconic. You've had Italy just scrape a draw against Croatia to go on and get second here. Spain, I think Spain have been the only team who've been on point at this tournament, and it's clear that Spain will win this tournament. But it's going to be difficult for Spain because they got so much young talent like us, and I don't think we lose the tournament on bad performances. I think we actually have a really good performance against the Dutch. I think the problem we've had in these first few games is we're going against teams that are difficult to break down. I mean, the Danish are always, we saw that at the last tournament. I mean, Slovenia, they've not played defensive at any part of this tournament, and we didn't know the defensive elements, but we showed that last night, and that could be a really good defensive element. I mean, we saw a little bit of it against Denmark, but I think we've got to give props to Slovenia. They're a good team. They're organised. They've been on best form in this group, better than England and Denmark. And Denmark fans can laugh, but you scraped a draw last night against Serbia, so you should be disappointed in yourselves again. And this time finishing in second on 3 points. That's the dismal. Denmark should have won last night. I don't know what happened there. But yeah, I can kind of say this group was very, not difficult, but very boring and not entertaining. And I don't think it was going to be ever entertaining. It was either going to go one or two ways. But it was going to be very close, or it was going to be very open for England and Denmark. And I think I liked the jeopardy last night because England realised, oh God, we have to win or draw. Definitely have to win. And we had a bit of luck last night. But again, it comes down to the question of, are England ready for this round 16? I don't think so. I don't think we were prepared for the tournament. But I think we've gone through every game now. We've not lost a game. And we've topped the group. That's the only positives we can take. There's a lot more negatives coming in because there's questions on players' experience. Why are these experienced players playing so badly compared to the players that, Anthony Gordon, who would have thought Anthony Gordon, Ollie Watkins and, Cole Palmer would be the best three players up front right now, and even Mainu in midfield, holding midfield. So, this tournament has really, I think, opened our eyes to actually the talent of England. And we've got to be positive with this, because if those players are doing really well right now at a major tournament, imagine when Jude Bellingham clicks, imagine when Foden clicks, imagine when Kane clicks with a new manager. I think that's the big issue. We've got to get a new manager. Southgate has to leave at the end of this tournament. I don't think there's any other option. I think it's just very unbearable. I don't actually think the players are entertaining him. And it sounds harsh. I've never wanted Southgate out. I've always thought he's not the best manager, but he has done incredible jobs and has gone further than we actually thought he could have done. A lot of people have criticised him, but I do think it is time for him to leave. And I don't think, as a, player, he's got, the experience as a manager to get us to the next step. He's built this team on, great experiences at tournaments, but now we do need to win stuff. And I don't think it's happening this time. I do think 2026 and 2028 will be our best shot, with the tournament being hosted in the United Kingdom. But I think we have to be, positive that, we haven't slipped off. I don't think, what I mean by that is I'm glad we haven't lost. There is something that we can take going into this round 16. We've taken no defeats. The Dutch and all the teams that we're going to come against have lost in this round of 16s on our end of the spectrum. And, at the moment it's Netherlands, and I think we will play the Netherlands. But I think it's very close between them and Czechia at the moment. I don't know who, but we got to be positive. We've won this group. Whoever we get, we will win the next game. I don't doubt it. I actually don't doubt it. People will look at the negatives every time Southgate is the manager. And I totally agree. Last game was an absolute dismal, but I can't be annoyed with the performance, actually. Yes, I could be annoyed, but that's how Southgate plays. He plays more defensive, but there was more attacking element in that game than in the Serbia game, than the Denmark game. The full 45 minutes of that second half was so good. It was actually really good and nice to see. But the problem we have is we're not finishing enough in a game where, previous games we got into the box and we just should be finishing. And, the question is, has England's quality gone down? Definitely. But I think also people's eyes are off of us now. And that favourite status has been on the back of our shoulders from the beginning of the story. And now we can go and, go into this round 16 saying we're not the favourite. We've not played very well. We've scraped a draw against Denmark and Slovenia. Let's learn from our mistakes. We had a good game last game. Let's go forward. So let's just do what we need to do. And for me, I think that's what England need to do now. They just need to be confident in themselves. There's a lack of confidence from England at the moment. I think that's what's lost us these games big time. And I think had our confidence been as confident as we were in that first game, we would have probably won this group of 9 points. The confidence is the big issue right now. I don't think any of the players that have got the experience and the players that haven't got the experience have got the confidence to go on to win. But we've got quality now. That was something that was missing in the first two games. There's actual quality coming out. And yes, it's against Slovenia. Yes, that should be happening. But I can't see us exiting at the round 16. There will be an aim for us to get to the semis, at least. If we get to semis, we've done very well. I mean, I think quarters is still where we exit. Quarters round 16 should be the early exits for us, especially round 16. But I hope we go on to go to semis, because if we get to semis, I think Southgate has proved a point again to all those doubters that I will probably not be here after this tournament, but have proven that we can get through the tough times. And I think that's what England are going through right now. This is the toughest tournament England have ever had, and it should be. It really should be. If you're going to be honest, if we want to win it, we're going to have it very tough, because everyone's going to have their eyes on England. And I think as the eyes will switch off, I think England will get better. So I'm not saying it's going to come home. I've never said that. But I think it's not coming home yet. And I've kept this theme in these reviews that England are, not going to win this tournament. I've never said that. I've always put another team ahead of them, because I do think that's going to be virtually the element. But, if we are to, and this is a question to you guys, if we are to get to a semi and final, will you watch it? Or will you be surprised? Because I'd be really surprised, because you don't know about this England team. I think there's going to be needed 4 changes to that squad next game. I do think Jude Bellingham, Foden, Saka, and maybe Kane need to maybe back down and be on the bench for the next game, and maybe just check if these players are good, because I do think we need to give another game for Mainu. But Mainu was good as a holding midfielder, and I think that might just be the only change next game. But I would also probably change Saka or Foden, one of those two, to put Cole Palmer in the squad because I can't see why Cole Palmer's not been in the squad. And I think a lot of people were like, oh, maybe give him a chance. And every game, it would go back to the Serbia game, he has qualities that I don't think we've seen from an England player in ages. And to see him pick up that squad by him and Mainu, and even Anthony Gordon with that one really good cross at the end in I think it was 91st minute. And these are players that have barely got any minutes under England and are just picking up this England team. And maybe Southgate is looking at the squad differently because he thinks, oh, more experienced players, the players that have had more experience should be in this squad. But I think he has to look at it now and say, this might be my last tournament, should be my last tournament if with how it's been playing. Let's just go for it, Maybe put Ollie Watkins up front. Do something different. We've not changed our squad massively at all compared to previous squads, actually. If you look at Southgate, he has made changes to his squads before the knockout stages, and people have been annoyed sometimes with it. But I don't think the same squad from the last game should stay. I do think Gallagher would have been good in the midfield, but I think the midfield is our biggest issue right now, actually, compared to our defence. Defence, I don't think needs changing. It is the attacking and midfield elements that need changing, but that's going to take time, and 5 or 4 changes is needed. Anyway, that is it. I did want to just do this in one off. It was 42 minutes last time because it was a hell of a horrible game. Much better from England. It's still not certain for me. I can't, really look at the performance as a whole as it was amazing. All I would say is it needs to go well from this point onwards. There needs to be, certain elements for England that need to improve. I do think the squad needs some slight adjustments. Not many. Defence has been perfect, I think. And a lot of people are like, oh, the defence hasn't really been tested. Not yet, but I do think that defence actually has been tested. If you look at the Denmark game, we held Denmark to a 1-1 draw that shouldn't have happened. Denmark should have been brutal to us. But it is what it is. England are through to the round of 16. We knew that before the game because of the results of Group B and A. Group C and A. No, Group B and A. Yeah, Group B and A. So, yeah, it is what it is. We've got to be confident now going into these next 3 rounds. I'm not as confident, but I still think there's a chance. But we will see. Anyway, see you guys soon. Bye-bye. London